In a city where every street has a story and every cab ride could change a life, one quiet driver faces the ride of his lifetime. What starts as just another shift turns into a battle for truth, dignity, and justice. But when lies spread faster than facts, and the internet becomes judge and jury, how far will one man go to defend his name? This is the true story of Louise, a cab driver who refused to stay silent. Louise had been driving a cab in the city for over 20 years. He had seen it all: midnight confessions, breakups, drunken outbursts, desperate tears, even a birth once in the back seat. His job was more than just getting people from one place to another. It was survival. It was his dignity. And it was, on most days, just quiet enough for him to breathe and keep going. That morning, the city was humid, thick with noise. Louise had the windows down slightly, letting in just enough air to feel alive without drowning in exhaust. The instrumental jazz humming from the radio soothed him, like a small shield against the chaos. He didn't notice her at first. She wasn't waving like most passengers. She stood at the curb, phone in hand, snapping her fingers like she was summoning a servant. When Louise pulled up, she didn't say hello, just climbed in, wrinkled her nose, and muttered, "God, it smells like someone died in here." Louise glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Early 30s, expensive sunglasses, perfectly ironed blazer. The kind of woman who probably had a podcast about boundaries but treated service workers like wallpaper. He gave a polite nod and started driving. She didn't stop. "Are these seats velvet?" "Seriously, that's disgusting. And this music, turn it off. Who even listens to jazz?" Louise exhaled through his nose, steadying himself. She was just another difficult rider. But then came the final straw. "Can you just stop breathing like that? It's distracting." He hit the brakes, not hard, but enough. Pulled over, looked her in the eye through the mirror. "I think you should get out." She blinked. "Excuse me, this ride's over." "You can't do that. I'm a customer. I have rights." Louise opened the door. "Then go find another cab. I'm done." She refused to move, threatened to call the police, promised a lawsuit. Louise didn't flinch. He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He just waited. Eventually, she stepped out, heels clicking angrily on the pavement. "You're going to regret this." She snapped. He watched her disappear into a crowd and drove away, shaking it off. Another story, he thought. Another bad passenger. He had no idea the real ride was just beginning. That afternoon, while eating a sandwich in the parking lot behind the depot, Louise's phone started buzzing. Notifications, mentions, tags. At first, he ignored them. Then one message from his niece caught his eye. "Uncle Lou, is this real?" It was a video. He clicked. There she was, the woman from earlier, holding her phone at the perfect selfie angle. Tears in her voice. The skyline behind her, giving the perfect lighting. "This man, this driver, he verbally assaulted me, screamed at me, told me I didn't belong in his cab. He threatened me. I was terrified. I just want people to know that this kind of misogynistic aggression is still happening every day." The video was heavily filtered, her voice shaky. The captions were bold, dramatic, "Abused by my cab driver." And the comments were exploding. Louise felt his throat close, not from fear, but from rage. She was lying, completely, and people were eating it up. His phone rang again. The dispatcher. "We need to see you." They said, "It's serious." At the office, his manager sat with arms folded. The viral video paused on a large screen. Louise looked tired, but calm. "This is damaging," the manager said. "We've had over 1,000 messages. She's saying you harassed her." "She's lying." "Then prove it." "I don't have a camera in the car." "Then it's her word against yours." They gave him a paper to sign, a drafted apology. It was careful, vague, and professionally crafted to smooth things over. If he signed, the company would release it, and things might quiet down. Louise didn't touch the pen. "If I sign this, I admit to something I didn't do." "If you don't sign it, We may have to suspend you until this dies down. Louise left the office, crushed but not defeated. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat in his kitchen, watching her video replay in loops. He started searching her name, and that was when the first clue came. A post on a local forum. Anyone else recognize the woman from that fake Uber video 2 years ago? He clicked. One story led to another. A trail of drama. Lawsuits filed and then mysteriously dropped. An Uber driver who lost his job after she claimed he tried to kidnap her because he took a wrong turn. A delivery guy who she accused of stalking after he knocked twice. Louise started calling friends, fellow drivers, old contacts. The stories piled up. They were nearly identical. Entitled behavior, false claims, public outrage, then silence. But this time, she picked the wrong man. Louise compiled everything, screenshots, testimonies, even a security guard who remembered her yelling at a barista last year. And with quiet resolve, he took the evidence to a lawyer who worked pro bono for drivers' rights. They contacted the police. The investigation started slowly. She had influence, knew how to play the victim. But truth is patient, and Louise was relentless. 2 weeks later, the tables turned. The police called him. A detective thanked him for coming forward. They had opened an official case. Multiple victims were now speaking up. The media picked it up. This time, the story wasn't hers. Serial false accuser, faces. Legal action. She lost her job at a nonprofit. Her social media went silent. And Louise. He didn't gloat. He didn't post a victory video. He just went back to work. But something had changed. Passengers began recognizing him. One left a thank you card on the seat. Another gave him a hug. Thanks for standing up. They said, for all of us. Louise smiled. Eyes tired but warm. Justice wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It was quiet, like a jazz tune on the radio. Steady. True. And finally heard.